I'm not entirely sure how to start today's video, to be honest. Let's just roll the intro and drink some brand new micro distilled malt whiskey. Welcome to Whisky Whiskey. I'm the Whiskey Chaser Brian here in Christy's bar, the home of whiskey and whiskey. Hope your week is good. I've said it in the last number of videos that we've done and we're still churning out new releases. No sign of it slowing or stopping, which is great for the channel here, but absolutely appalling for my wallet. But you can't take it with you, right? You only live once, yeah? The problem with that is if the missus sees another bottle of whiskey coming into the house, I won't be living for much longer. Fact. This right here is the brand new release and first whiskey distilled at the micro distillery in Middleton, the Method and Madness Rye and Malt Irish Whiskey. It's kind of a special day here at Whiskey Chaser HQ, a day of first for sure. We've had the Method and Madness whiskey on the channel before. Not so long ago, I did the Mulberry release from the distillery, and I will of course link that above for you to watch. It wasn't a bad whiskey, I don't think. Certainly not my favorite from the brand as of yet. Not bad though. But then this came popping up, and it aroused my interest. Partly because it was a new release, obviously, but more so because Method and Madness are meant to be the innovative and outside the box thinkers and distillers branch or arm of Middleton. The ethos behind Method and Madness when they opened the micro distillery in 2015 was to experiment with wood finishes, cereal mixes, historic mash bills, and basic experimenting with whatever they wanted to try and come up with. Basically, they had full reign. Go ahead your best, lads. There you go, here's a distillery. And this whiskey here is the brainchild of distiller Catherine Condon, who drew inspiration from John Jameson III's personal notebooks dating back to 1857, where the inclusion of rye was recorded in various mash bills. And rye did used to play a big part in some of the historic Irish whiskey brands' mash bills, in case you didn't put two and two together there for yourselves. As far as Irish whiskey goes, this is a rather unique mash bill here that uses a combination of 60% rye and 40% malt, which has been double distilled in the micro distillery. Let me just address that micro part. I think I mentioned it in my last video that I did at the Mulberry, that although they refer to the Method and Madness as a micro distillery within Middleton, I think it's still in like the top 10 list of the biggest distilleries in Ireland. It's pretty big. So yeah, 46% ABV, matured in bourbon cask, a non-age statement here, but more than likely between the ages of 5 and 6 years of age, seeing that the distillery only started distilling in 2015. Part of me is also thinking they held back an amount of casks for further down the road. Just a guess, but you know, keep an eye on the channel. Actually, coming to think of it, I think I've had this whiskey before. But obviously not this exact whiskey, but a younger version of it in a whiskey tasting one night in Paris, Texas, with Jer Garland, of all people, who had a sample bottle of this or something similar to this with him. And if I'm right, it was younger than this. I think it was about a 4-year-old, I think. That's totally possible. Could have tried it. I remember hearing Rye and Malt. All right, enough talking. Let's get this in the glass. And we pour. Okay, so 60% rye and 40% double distilled malt, 46% ABV, limited edition, available to Ireland and the UK and Dublin Airport at a price point of 95 euros. All right, so I've given it a little bit of a chance to breathe. I'll give my notes. First, on the nose. Straight away, hits or hints of youthfulness and cereal forward and spice. That's right in the nose. There's a lemony citrus note to it, and it's weird. The whiskey's not weird, but what's weird is this smells of dryness. There's like a hint, there's like a dryness accent off of it. It comes across to me like this is going to be a dry whiskey. It's, you know, like I said, the cereal forward, the cereal part is definitely there. The youthfulness, definitely there. That lemon citrus note, anyone would pick that out, I think, personally. Lemon, okay. Floral lavender, nope. I'm not getting that so much. Clove spice on the nose, okay. Maybe a hint of it. I'm getting more of a cereal grain type of note mixed in with a little bit of the youthfulness of the spirit. So that is not coming through for me. But yeah, there's a lot of what I would think as the rye element in this. Obviously, as a 60%. It's not super complex. There's a good bang of hay on the nose and the rye part to it. It's interesting, I will say that. There's a little bit of bitterness there as well. Into the palate we go. Let's get it. Let's launch it. For me, straight away, spiciness. Coats the palate. Cereal. Have that rye content as well. Straight across the palate, undeniable. Dryness, it's there. Mouth is kind of dried out. Little bit of pepperiness. Lemoniness. Or lemony vanilla, because there is a subtle hint of vanilla there as well. By the way, this was finished in bourbon casks. Of course I said that. Gave you the information. I'm going to try another sip. It's not a shot. Lemon, vanilla, cereal forward, a little bit of youth, spicy, not crazy spice, not turning you off. I don't want to drink that spice. Interesting spice. This is totally different. It does remind me of a particular brand of whiskey in the essence of the kind of youthfulness and the cereal notes coming through. To me, I'm not going to say it is, but the DNA here is very interesting. You're definitely getting a lot of the rye notes. You're definitely getting a lot of the malted notes, the cereal notes, the spiciness, a little bit of the lemoniness, dryness. It's totally different for me. Similar to another brand, but totally different at the same thing. Not what I expected from Method of Madness. A little bit of toasted wood there on the end. You know, obviously my mouth is still very much full of heat. That woody note still there, cereal notes. Not overly complex, you are picking these out, but there's a touch of bitterness. The flavors hold, I will say that. Interesting, it's an interesting dram. Interesting dram. I suppose you would expect something like that from Method of Madness. That's the point. I have an idea of what I might compare this to, but I don't know if I would use it as a comparison. I think maybe I'd have to try them side by side, but it is interesting. I don't think it's bad. I think it needs to be viewed from a different perspective in terms of innovation, yes, but maybe more so on the historic relevance here as to what maybe whiskey in the past could have resembled. Not be like, but resembled. Maybe that DNA, that flavor forward of the cereal notes. It's different. It's cereal forward, it's brash, a little wild, it's got attitude, and it has its place for whiskey drinkers. I think it's young. I do think that. It's on its way. I think sadly a little on the expensive side of things. You're either gonna love it or you're not. But I see the direction it's going in, and I think that it needs to be taken into account when drinking this. I think anybody who's going to down the road rate this or review this needs to understand that as well, where they're going with it. You can't compare this to New Age whiskey in my sense. These are Method of Madness. They're driving innovation. It's good. So there you have it. The brand new rye and malt release from Method and Madness. Give it a try for yourselves. It is interesting. Now, to be fair, Irish distillers did send me out a small sample of this to try, and thank you very much for the sample. But I'm using the pub's bottle here to do my not a review. And as always, all thoughts are my own. Keeping this short and sweet today. That's it for me here. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any requests from some new Irish whiskies hitting the market, leave a comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share away. Oh, and don't forget to join my new Facebook group, Whiskey and Whiskey. I'll leave the link down below for you guys. Thanks again to the lads here in Christy's for the sample today, and it's available obviously in Christy's by the dram. Hope to see you down here very soon. Until next week, Chaser out. Sláinte.